Hey guys, today I would like to analyze a game which was just played 2 days ago at the UMBC Championship. So the championship of my university. UMBC stands for University of Baltimore, Maryland County. And I didn't participate myself in the tournament because I was just busy with classes. But in the last round there was an exciting game at board 1, and this game was played between the players Alex Barnett, FIDE master Alex Barnett, and international master Tanguy Ringoir, who just joined the chess team of UMBC. And we're quite happy to have him because he's quite a strong player on the verge of becoming a grandmaster. So I would say let's go right ahead and take a look at what happened in this game. So Barnett with white and Ringoir with black. E4, E5, and now Barnett played the King's Gambit, and well, this is why the title is saying King's Gambit fun, because it's going to be quite an exciting game. And black accepted the challenge, took on f4, and now certainly the main move here is knight f3, but white went for bishop c4, which actually allows black to give this check on h4. Obviously knight f3 would prevent that. But white is saying, okay, I'll play my king to f1, I lose my right to castle, but in the following I will gain a tempo developing my knight to f3, attacking the queen on h4, and then of course I want to build up a strong center again. This is usually an idea in the King's Gambit. And it's not too bad that I've played my king to f1. So in the game actually black didn't even give this check on h4. Just played knight c6, now d4, and still here he could give the check on h4, but it would be pretty much the same we just saw. So black played knight f6, and I'm not quite sure about the next white move here. He played e5, further playing aggressively, but maybe simply knight c3 would have been a slightly better option, and then bishop b4, knight g2. And here it seems black shouldn't take on e4, but play f3 instead. So this pawn would be lost anyway, but why not give it to destroy a little bit the white pawn structure? Well, not yet is the white pawn structure destroyed, but after the next move, d5 is a strong move here. And here, position is maybe around equal, maybe a little bit better for black. Alright. But in the game, white played e5. And that's quite a usual reply here to counter e5 with d5, and works quite well in this position. So now obviously black is fighting for a center as well, and white wouldn't gain anything out of taking on f6 because black simply takes on c4, and that's just not good for white. So the bishop has to retreat, bishop e2, and now the knight has a beautiful outpost on e4. And of course now queen h4 is a threat, so bishop takes f4 is kind of preventing that, because then after queen h4 g3 would be possible. And now black played f6, which I think is fine, but maybe even stronger would have been a simple developing move, bishop f5. And here it's actually not so easy to find a move for white, because knight f3 kind of runs into g5, and then bishop g3 and g4. And here it seems that black is certainly having an edge, and black is better. So maybe white should play c3 here in order to protect the pawn on d4, but now f6, and these two moves, bishop f5 and c3, have been certainly an improvement for black. And now knight f3, for example, it could continue like that. And here black has developed all his pieces, is about to castle, and certainly is better here. Also after f6, black should be better. Now knight f3. But the next move is clearly a mistake by black. It was just too aggressive here. Black played g5 actually, and it's just weakening the black king too much right now. So black should have just simply taken on e5. Knight takes, bishop takes e5. And Alex told me actually that he was a little bit worried about bishop b4 at this point. And the idea is after c3 to just castle and now threat knight f2. But it is actually not too bad. Black is going to be better, but not too much. After bishop f3, preventing knight f2, bishop d6, bishop takes d6, knight takes d6, and now white shouldn't take on d5 because it would not allow him to castle. So white should castle instead, c6, knight d2, queen g5, and even though the position is quite symmetrical, actually completely symmetrical obviously, black is still better because just his pieces are in better squares and his more active pieces, for example queen here on g5, and his next moves are going to be bishop f5, bring the rook to e8, and it's quite difficult for white to find good squares for his pieces. You see this knight is kind of misplaced or doesn't know where to go. Alright, let's continue with the game. g5. Now bishop has to move, bishop e3, and now f5. And again, f5 doesn't seem to be the best move. It was better to play g4, but already I wouldn't like to be in black shoes here, clearly. Knight fd2, and now knight takes d2. Here even white has the option to take on g4 already. Already variations like that are possible because the black king is still in the center and can come under attack. But here it seems that white is not having more than a perpetual after king d7, queen f5, king e8, queen h5. And you might ask, well, why is not black playing king e7? Then knight c3, and already black is in some trouble because knight takes c3 can be answered with e takes f6, and you can see the black king is wide open here and black is having problems, yeah. Combination of trouble and problems. So instead, well, white doesn't have to go for a perpetual. He could also play knight takes d2 at this point. And here I also believe it's quite difficult for black, even though objectively speaking the position is still equal. But after f5, white is already better, because now knight fd2 is a strong move, just opening up this diagonal, and actually there's no way for black to prevent this check coming and losing the right to castle. So black played f5, f4, bishop h5 check, king e7, and now the bishop is attacked on e3, so what to do? And actually white is having several options. So white played bishop g1, but maybe it would have been stronger to play rook f1 first. So obviously now black can take on e3 because of check and, well, checkmate. So probably a likely move is something like bishop g7, and now bishop g1. This, as you can see, is a more harmonious setup because now the rook is not trapped on h1, kind of. It's more active on f1. So that would have been slightly better than what Barnett played in the game. Another move I took a look at was knight takes e4, d takes e4, and now castle. Again, f takes e3, you don't want to do this and allow the rook to come to f7. But bishop e6, and now knight c3, f takes e3, d5 also looks quite dangerous for black, but it seems that he can defend his position here with queen d6, and it's only slightly better for white. But definitely bishop g1 is a decent move. Now bishop f5, and now white is simply finishing his development, knight c3. And after the next move already, black is lost. Played knight b4. Black was also very aggressive in this game, but it just didn't work out because his king was too unsafe in the center on e7. After knight b4, it's already over. Black should take on c3 and then continue with something like queen d7 and maybe somehow get the king out of the center. I don't even know how concretely it will work out, but yeah, it's just difficult to play for black. So here could continue with h4, h6, queen f3. Maybe ideas to follow up with g3. White can think about long castle, and definitely position is preferable for white, but the advantage is not that big yet. It's just plus equal for white. Okay, but things are quite different after knight b4, and white is just playing very strong here from now on till the end of the game. Knight d takes e4, d takes e4, and quite an amazing position here if you look at it. White is having these double, these connected pawns in the center, e5 and d4. Black is also having pawns on e4 and f4, which kind of look threatening. So really the question is, whose king is more unsafe? And it turns out it is black's king. And here, very strong idea, queen e2, bringing the queen to c4 and then invading on the white squares. So also the pawn on e4 is hanging. You don't want to give up this pawn because, well, if white takes here and then just castles queenside or something like that and just resign pretty much. So e3. Also you can see now that, well, these pieces are kind of trapped in here, but it doesn't matter really because white is having enough attacking potential to really cause problems. And now queen c4, just ignoring knight takes c2, it doesn't matter. More important is the threat of checkmate on f7. So since this guy is also hanging on b4, black first took on c2, check, king f1. But now he has to do something about this mate on f7. And it's actually not that easy to figure out what to do. So black played bishop e6, and really there are not that many moves to consider. For example, queen d7, queen f7, king d8, queen f6. I mean, we don't even have to look at this anymore, obviously. So bishop e6, but now d5. The pawns are rolling. And now knight takes a1. But this opened up this square on b4. If white took on e6 here, it wouldn't be that bad for black, certainly. But queen b4 is way stronger. And, well, black can only play king d7. For example, c5 would be answered by d takes c6 en passant. That would be quite unpleasant and made in the next move. So king d7, and still white is not taking on e6. He's down a whole rook, but just this combination of the advanced pawns on d5 and e5 plus the bishop and the queen attacking a black king, it's just too much for black to defend. So what to do here? White is threatening obviously queen c6, and just everything is falling apart, and really black is not having a lot of options. So he played rook b8. If, well, for example, bishop f5 and queen c6, and you can choose which way you want to lose, king c8, queen takes a8, or, well, king e7, queen f6, and this guy's hanging, and just all falling apart. Rook on h8, just all falling with check. And if king e7, then we'll actually kind of have a similar variation that we'll just see in the game. King is just chased down in the center. So rook b8, and again it looks tempting to play queen c6 here and to collect this guy on e6 with check, but then it wouldn't be that clear. Wouldn't be that clear actually. Queen takes e6. Now not king b7, queen c6, king c8, bishop g4, but black can play queen d7, and it's not over yet. I mean, white is better, but that's definitely not over. So again, white plays the right move here, d takes e6 check. And now king takes e6. If king e7 now, then queen c6, and this threat of knight d5 is pretty deadly. So king takes e6, and now everything comes with check, of course. Queen c6, king takes e5, queen e4 check. Now black played king f6, and I just want to show you quite a nice variation here of the king d6. It's kind of a dance of the bishop, queen, of the white queen and bishop against the black king. So let's just watch and enjoy this. Just giving a lot of checks, and the black king can simply not escape. King b6 would lead to a queen b5 mate. And now some more checks, some more checks, some more checks, and then finally white chased the king down to the king side, and now h4. And it will be pretty much over soon. Also, yeah, idea to bring in the rook into attack, or maybe even the bishop, and it's over. So black played king to f6, but of course now the knight is joining in the attack with pleasure. King g7, queen e5 check, king h6, and now h4 again. It's pretty crushing, and well, black cannot take on h5 because, well, let's just check how white would play here. I mean, certainly there are many moves to finish this off, but what is the fastest way? I was actually just looking at queen f5, which is kind of a cool move, a quiet move, now threatening mate h takes g5, and I believe the only way to prevent that, well, actually there's some ideas with e2 I'm just seeing, so maybe queen f5 is not the smartest move, but also black might have king h6. So let's just go back here and so what about taking on? Yeah, that should be pretty simple. Yes, that should be it. So king g4, queen takes f4 obviously, and king g6. Where's the mate? Should be somewhere around here. Should be somewhere. Knight takes f4, king 7. Well, okay, just one variation I now finally spotted. G6, king g8 would run into queen e6 and queen f7 mate, and h takes g6. And here, okay, finally I found a mate. All right, so the bishop cannot be taken, but well, it's hopeless anyway. Black played g takes h4, but now actually this trapped bishop on g1 is joining the attack, and after e2, last try, simply bishop takes e2, and well, bishop takes f4 is coming, all pieces are joining the attack, and all the black pieces are just watching pretty much. They're not doing anything. So, quite a fantastic game. Very strong game by white. You have to give him credit. I mean, he played an almost perfect game, Alex Barnett, and he actually won the tournament with this win, 4.5 out of 5 in the UMBC Championship. So, strong performance. Congrats to him. I'm a little bit sorry for Tanguy, and maybe I should apologize that I'm actually analyzing this game and showing that to you guys, but he will maybe understand, because I just thought it was a fun game, and I hope it was fun for you guys to watch, and I guess I see you soon. And well, if you have any questions, as always, just post them below, and yeah, see you soon. Bye.